And today I'm here streaming live on Pot TV, Cannabis Culture's Facebook page right now. Everybody say hi to the internet. Say hi! Hi! That's nice. I appreciate that. Ever having a good time today? Yeah! I don't know if that was half-hearted or if you guys are just stoned. Let me try that one more time. Y'all having a good time today? Yeah! That's better, you bunch of potheads. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Also, thank you for everyone who tuned up at the outdoor venue. And thank you for everyone who's watching us live on the interwebs right now. I'm going to move most of my song and dance show back to the back room and hand it over to the host, the moderator for the evening, Mr. Alan Young, afternoon. As well as we've got Ian Culbert, John Conroy, John Fowler, Hillary Black, and this lady in the middle who I know reasonably well, Jody Emery. There he is. Now we can start. I was just trying to kill time. Now the man's here, so I can hand it over, ladies and gentlemen, who do the rest of it. Alan Young.
Good afternoon. Pleased to see you here. Some familiar faces, some new faces. We have a good panel. We have some people who've contributed greatly to the movement towards legalization, which I'm going to assume will happen, though I'm cynical enough to still believe it needs a push. So I want to introduce the panel, and I'm not going to do very much. I'm just going to get a couple of introductory comments and just turn it to the panel to give you their insight into what they think will happen or what they want to happen. So let me just tell you who we have, because we have some really remarkable people here. Some I know, some I don't. So John Fowler is here. I've known John for a while, not that long. Very involved with the LP program and is the CEO of a company called Supreme. Is that the correct name? Very good. And then beside him is Ian Cuthbert, who I've just met for the first time today. And he is the Executive Director of the Canadian Public Health Association and has been involved in public health issues since 1990, so he's been doing this a long time. And then beside we have Jody Emery, who probably needs no introduction, a very famous name in the pot community. But for those of you who don't know, Jody is, well, an activist, but she also has a lot of different interests, operates Cannabis Culture, Pot TV, and a bunch of vapor lounges and head shops. She's involved all the time and is one of the go-to people now when the media has questions about this. And then beside her is Hillary Black, who I've known for quite a long time. And I will just say that Hillary I started doing work in the pot field in the early 90s. And I met Hillary in the late 90s when the medical movement started. And I have to say, single-handedly, she put it on the map. John and myself were doing it from a legal perspective. She was doing it from a community service perspective, and was the founder and originator of the first Compassion Center in British Columbia. And we know what's happened since then. And then beside Hillary is John Conroy. John is a colleague of mine. We're both lawyers, as you know. We've done a lot of the seminal cases, and quite frankly, John in the last 2 years has shaken the foundations of the government policy, largely through the Allard case, which just spun out of control in terms of its implications for cannabis policy, has really opened the door for everything that's going on right now, including the proliferation of dispensaries and other things. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion, there's still a lot of problems. But without the Allard case kind of pushing things forward, I'm not sure we would be in the position where we are in 2016 saying, we think we're going to be legalizing next year. So, unbelievable contribution. And just also want to say, John has done a lot of other things too. We're here about pot, so I'm talking about pot. But I just want to say, he doesn't even know this. It makes me feel younger to say it. When I was a law student, I was doing research in prison law. And he actually had a textbook that I used, that I plagiarized incredibly for my professor that I was working for. Said it was my work, but it was all John's. So he's been around doing this work for a long time in terms of civil rights. So great panel. I'm going to turn it over to them in about 30 seconds. I just wanted to take the time as moderator to just express an opinion about where we are right now. It's not that insightful, but I wanted to share it with you. I think we're legalizing. But why are we legalizing is an important question. There are 3 different types of justifications you can use for legalizing, okay? One is personal. I'm a pot smoker. I know it's not harmful. Let me do what I want to do. We know that's not why the Liberal government's doing this. They haven't come out and said, yeah, we have a lot of pot smokers in cabinet and they would like this to happen. So it's not about personal reasons. It could be a principled reason, which is my reason to legalize, which is I have the right to make autonomous choices about what I do with my body, even if it does hurt me, which I don't believe it does, because I think marijuana is benign. But regardless, I take that position on all drugs about autonomous choice. You have not heard that once mentioned by the Liberal government. This is not about principle at all. They've never said people have autonomous choices. They rely on the third justification, which is pragmatic, which is basically utilitarian, it's best for the country. Why? Because we can't win the war. That's really what it is. It's a white flag, it's a resignation, and probably the prime move behind this, and I know it sounds cynical, but I think you might agree, is money. When people would ask me in the 90s, are we ever going to legalize? I always answer the question by saying when the money is there, that's when government will change. And if you think they're doing this because they want to be nice to you, then you're missing the point. They're doing this largely because they're going to run deficits. This is a huge community of consumers. They're going to have a great excise tax grab. It's all about money and saving the money in terms of the criminal justice system, the millions of dollars was wasted converting you people, ordinary people, into criminals. So, I say this because, in my opinion, what may come out will not be something you agree with. You may not like it, because it's being motivated by reasons other than your reasons. But I do want to say, whatever comes out next year is not the final word. I don't think it's going to be great, but I do think normalization of cannabis over the years, we will evolve into a legal regime which is going to be like a cottage industry where it doesn't have to be the LCBO necessarily and it doesn't have to be government controlled, but it will take time because there are still people who are going to say this is a harmful substance, and remember what the tone of the discourse is from the Liberal government. We have to protect our kids. While you're still talking like Reverend Lovejoy and the Simpsons, you're not going to get a system that's going to be accommodating to your needs. They're going to deprive you of some liberty in order to protect the children. But after a decade where people have died from cannabis and there hasn't been fatalities on the road and all the things they claim, you will see a system that probably we can all live with. It will take some time. The last thing I want to mention that I want to turn it over is the most important point for me, which has been lost in the debate. Whatever system they come up with, whatever regime they come up with, whether you like it or not, isn't the issue, not the change. It's what they do with the people who don't want to be in the regime, which, by the way, is going to be mostly people. A lot of you are going to say, I'm not going to buy from shoppers, I'm not going to buy from the LCBO, I'm going to continue to grow. Right now, the Liberal government said that people who don't fit within their program still fit within the criminal law. That is not legalization, and I will continue to fight that. Well, I still can, in the remaining years I have as a lawyer, because all you've done is taken a criminal population of 2 million and made it a couple 100,000. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of an improvement, but it's not. The marijuana has to be removed from the criminal law in its entirety in order to have true legalization. It may not happen next year, but if that is still remaining, if cannabis still remains in Schedule 2 of the CDSA, we've achieved very little. So even though it looks like we've won the battle, we may not have won the war, and we may continue to have to fight this into the next 5 years. That's my comments, and now I'd like to turn it over to the panel. So, all I propose to do is just ask some generic question and just wind them up and let them talk and go through the panel one at a time. After each question, we'll take a small break just to see if there's any questions from the audience. Otherwise, we'll move to the second question and then the third. And that's all we're going to do. And I just have very general questions pretty much left for you guys to talk about whatever you want to talk about. As long as it's pot related. Okay, we're not going to talk about baseball or anything like that. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to pose to the panel is if you were Prime Minister, you've got to think about let that sink in for a minute, and you had control over this policy, what do you think would be the ideal legalization program in Canada? So, do you want to start with John Fowler and go however you want to do it? Okay?
Well, the difficulty with the question is when it's put to a lawyer is one wants to immediately get into the technical aspects of how you do it. But basically, I wrote a paper for a Canadian Bar conference not long ago in which we set out how to do it, which is pass an order in council, which isn't going into Parliament, it's simply the Cabinet passing an order removing cannabis from Schedule 2 to the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. That is legalizing. Nothing short of that is what they call legalization. So you take it, you stop using the criminal law power. The federal government has this constitutional power, and you stop using the criminal law power.